Hello everybody, this is Ghost Hunter 385 and I am back with more StarCraft II and more commentary for everybody. So let's get started, shall we?
New acquisition. Is it a Protoss device?
Protoss device.
That's right.
Let's see.
But I wouldn't mess with it if I were you.
Kadarian Ehon crystal.
It's a memory
stores
device.
memories
Lets you experience whatever
of
you've seen and
people
done. It can
who
be dangerous
have
if you don't know what
used
you're
it.
doing.
Yet you don't fear
That's
it
an
at all.
interesting device
You're a
right there, because
fascinating
it's a
man,
bit,
You know more
well,
about
the best way to
Protoss and
phrase it
Zerg
in
than
popular
any of
culture
the
is think of the
experts I've read
pensive
about.
from Harry Potter, except that this is more based on psychic.
These artifacts is making me nervous.
Oh, what's the word I'm looking for
Can you
here?
tell me any more about them?
Psychic,
It's
not psychic
interesting.
impressions, like
The one
transfers
from
through
Zil is
psychic
different than the others. However, I think all of
ideas.
them once constituted
I
a single
mean,
device.
oh geez,
They
what's
make
the
something
best
bigger?
way to
It
phrase
would
this?
seem
I'm just
so.
going
It's
to
just
sit
a
here and
theory,
say
but
that
there's
the
an attraction
best way
between
to
artifacts we
phrase
collected,
this is,
a kind of
think of it like
harmonic
a computer
Given the
where you
points of
store
contiguous
memory on it,
translinear alignment, I
and that's
think
what
they'd
you
be
do
drawn
with the
together
crystal
like
in the same
magnets under
way.
the right field
Although I
attraction.
don't think you would actually want to
Okay.
jam it into
don't
your
adjust
brain,
anything
though,
just
there,
yet,
folks.
Doc.
I don't think
I like
that's
them aligned,
how it
just the way they
works.
are.
But take that as, a way to understand that. What's this? The crystal is growing and appears to have some sort of antimatter gravitational anomaly. Blah, 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 blah. Research time, baby. Let's see. Ultra capacitors. Or, oh, well, I should have done the ultra armor. Sorry about that. But the main reason why I picked the capacitors here isn't just because of faster fire. Now people might sit here and say, Ghost Hunter 385, that's what stem packs are for. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but there's one problem. The stem pack is for the Marines only, not for the Marauders. And I do believe those ultra capacitors do affect the armored units. Kind of hoping it does there. I could be wrong. What's this? New mercenary siege breakers. A small team of elite ex-Confederate tank pilots. Well, and of course the one psychic Terran on the ship. Ah, yes, he can sense the Protoss that was on the ship. Not really all that surprising in my opinion, considering that something as powerfully psychic as a Protoss, and then as psychic as the type of ghost that Tosh is, it leads one to wonder, oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? How he would not notice, kind of like how you see in the movies, how the psychic sense the ghosts, the undead spirits, the ghosts.
Our industrial complex has stepped up production on all fronts.
What's this?
Enlistment rates have risen within
No,
the
it's
system,
not.
and the Marine Corps is
This
ready
is
to
such
get
a
in the
lie.
fight. The Zerg won't know what hit them.
I mean, it's such a lie in the regard that Manx is actually taking the fight to the Zerg when it's a load of utter hogwash. Manx pulled the Dominion fleets back to protect the core worlds of the Dominion and left everybody else to fend for themselves. It's basically what they did. It's sad, but it's what Manx did. Now some people might sit there and say that's terrible, but when you think about it, I mean, that's like the U.S. pulling forces away from any sort of territories that the U.S. has in like a foreign country, and we just can't hold on to it. The idea is to protect the main worlds where most of your population is. Pretty crappy for other people, but it's not overall not a bad idea. What's this? Let's see, the first guy who did operate the tank, he put a sound system in and it got him killed. I've always wondered what it was like to be in a tank. I've never actually been in one. I mean, I've seen the historical ones that have been gutted, but they don't let you get inside to see what it's like. Well, you gotta wonder sometimes what a sound system would sound like inside of a tank sometimes, folks. I mean, with the right speakers, make it nice and loud, And then it's got that echo chamber to it. That sounds nice when you think about it. Basically, what's this? Finally! Yes. I need that one and that one. No, someone asked, Ghost Runner, why'd you do that? Well, it's simple. One of those is the upgrades that allows... those Maelstrom rounds are nice, and the Shape Blast also help protect your troops, and that helps deal more damage. Kind of sad that the splash damage stays the same. I would have preferred if the splash damage had gone up by like 5, but it doesn't do that. It sucks. Back to the lab, and what's going on here? Oh, that's right. It's time to start the crystal missions, baby. Now, I refer to this as crystal mission, but you could refer to them as memory missions too, I guess.
Friend Raynor, long has it been since we stood together against
and
the
anyone who's kind of wondering why the Protoss refer to Jim Raynor as Friend Raynor, it's more or less as a way of saying that, you know, he is a friend of the Protoss. Because not every Terran is beloved by the Protoss, and I imagine there are even a few that the Protoss actually really hate. Now, I'm not going to sit here and speculate into that utter entirely, but a lot of Protoss who know what James Raynor did on Aiur refer to him as Friend Raynor. As to why that is, I've never actually heard an explanation in-game, aside from the fact that the Protoss view James Raynor as a friend. And that's it. And also all the work he did on Aiur too. And what's going on? Oh, cutscene. What's this? The Zerg Swarm. Oh, that's right, this is a cutscene. You know what? I will let you guys enjoy this cutscene. And I think I'll keep my talking to a minimum here and let you guys enjoy the cutscene. Because this is a bit more of an action-y cutscene than anything, so I'm just gonna shut up now. And then I will see you guys when this mission starts.
that forged us all are returning. But do they come to save? Or to destroy?
I knew you'd find your way here. Eventually.
Your very presence defiles this place, Kerrigan.
Do you hear them, Zeratul? Whispering from the stars. The galaxy will burn with their coming.
Perhaps. But you won't live to see it.
Please. Our petty conflicts mean nothing now. The storm is coming that cannot be stopped. Fitting that we should face oblivion together.
Never!
fate cannot be changed. The end comes. And when it finds me, I shall embrace it at last.
The prophecy is uncertain. There is always hope.
As you can see, folks, Zeratul is no slouch, and the threat of the infested Sarah Kerrigan is no undermining threat here either, folks. But in any case, let's get into today's topic, and we are back again with some more StarCraft lore for y'all folks.
Each kept at separate shrines.
So let's get back on track here. So from here, Kerrigan, after she killed the Executor Aldaris, she left Shakuras.
Fortunate that I can phase through the shadows.
And, you know, this is when you see the Protoss come together around the Zelnaga Temple on Shakuras. And then this is where they take the crystals that you were sent out earlier to get that will purge the planet of the Zerg, but it's also imbued with the energy. Well, one crystal is imbued with the energy of the light Protoss, while the other crystal is infused with the energy of the dark Protoss. And it's basically get to the temple, defend the temple, and then when the clock hits 0, the temple, the energies of the temple purge all the Zerg off of Shakuras. And that's when, you know, the Protoss missions end in Brood War. Now this is where we move over to the Terrans. Now, some people might say, "Oh, we're going back to James Rayner." No, we're not. Some people say, "Well, what do you mean? Who's the Terrans? Arcturus?" No. The UED has come to the Cthulhu Spectre. Now, some people might sit here and say, "Who is the UED?" UED stands for United Earth Directorate. Terrans have been in the Cthulhu sector for well over, what, 300 years or so? Doesn't mean that Earth isn't still around, and considering that, you know, this is a futuristic version of Earth, you think they don't have colonies around Earth and planets that have been terraformed for Terran habitation here, folks? But in any case, the United Earth found out. It's not, I don't believe it explicitly states in canon, but Earth found out about the Zerg and the Protoss. And this allowed the people of Earth to unify under the banner to protect Earth and protect humanity, I guess you could say. And when that happened, they formed a new coalition called the United Earth Directorate. And when the United Earth Directorate finally comes into play here, this is a fleet comprised of space sailors and space marines. You know, some might sit here and say, "Well, we already know that, Ghost Hunter 385." And it's like, yeah, I get it. You guys already know that. But still, it's UED, United Earth Directorate's battle group, 1 MEF. Now, those who don't know, a MEF, in the terms of the Marine Corps, is Marine Expeditionary Force. In other words, this is the combination of ships and Marine units of the 1st Division of these Space Marines, I guess you could say. Well, that's the simplest way to put it. And from there, they come in, and, you know, very first mission, because you meet Admiral Dougal and Commander, what was it, Stukov? Don't worry, we'll see him again in the Heart of the Swarm. it'll be interesting to see him again.
Glory.
But in any case, the Admiral and the Commander were, yeah, Commander Alexei Stukov, come to the Kapulu sector under the orders of the United Earth Directorate
You require my
to basically bring the space under Earth Directorate control is the best way to phrase that there, folks. So from there, UED comes in and they start making deals with local rebel groups about dealing with Arcturus and dealing with the Dominion. Well, not the Dominion, but basically what amounts to the... oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? What government that Arcturus is coupled together under the Dominion at this point in time. Because when you think about it, Tarsonis had fallen within maybe less than a year, and Arcturus basically took control of it from then. So, you know, he had like the base beginnings of a working government, not like that big great, but so he's basically doing the thing to rebuild. And then this is where the Earth Directorate comes in and basically, I don't want to say who's got the bigger stick here, folks, but I will say who can do the most damage fast. So from there, the Earth Directorate goes on basically what amounts to strategical strikes. First, they strike out a platform that well, not exactly in timeline here, but they strike at a platform where the Dominion, after they've hit a bunch of planets, this is when you see them hit a space station dock, a space dock basically, where they go through and capture a bunch of Terran battleships, and the intention is to use these battleships against the Dominion. Then this is where Edmund Duke shows up and says, I don't know what kind of militia you boys think you are, but we're gonna put a stop to you now. And then this is where you see the Admiral come up and say, we are not some ragtag band of militia, we are United Earth Directorate military commanders, and you better know your place, little general. And, you know, this surprises Edmund Duke, because, holy crap, what the hell is the Earth Directorate doing out here? We shouldn't even be a blip on their radar. Then from there, this is where you see the Earth Directorate make some more plans, and then they eventually go to Core Hall, and they invade Core Hall. And just as they've beat Arcturus, and Arcturus is fleeing, this is when Jim shows up with some Protoss in tow. Well, not in tow, but Protoss warriors and Protoss ships with him, and they rescue Arcturus and just disappear. Then from there, the UED is a bit miffed. Now, some people might say, why are they miffed? Well, they were sent to capture Arcturus Minx and bring his dominion under control of Earth Directorate. Well, bring him under Earth Directorate control is basically the whole point. And that does not happen the way they want it to. So what does the Earth Directorate do next? Well, they start focusing on the Zerg. And then this is where deception comes in. Because earlier in the game, the ghost named Darude, or whatever his name was, or Duran, something like that, convinces the Admiral to destroy what is known as the Psi Disruptor. Now, some people might sit here and say, what's the Psi Disruptor? It's big. Well, you know that earlier on in earlier lore videos that the Zerg communicate and command via telepathic means. So because they communicate via telepathic means, if you break that telepathic link, the Zerg leaders or the celebrates, they can't control the Zerg. And if you can't control your troops, do they do what they're supposed to, or do they just go and attack each other? And that's what happened. And Darude, if I'm pronouncing that correct, I could not be, sits there and tells the Admiral to destroy the Psi Disruptor, because if Minx gets his hands on it, he can use that against the UED by disrupting the Zerg, and then while the UED are doing operations and not getting rid of the Zerg, you know, it makes it a lot harder. And Stukov sits there and says, Admiral, I don't believe this is a good idea. This is a very effective weapon against the Zerg, but the Admiral sits there and says, no, destroy it. And supposedly, that's what happens. Then, from there... Oh, jeez, let me think for a minute, folks. Hold on. Okay, now I'm back on track here. Sorry about that. But in any case, this is where you see the commander sitting there and fleeing, and then this is where you find Darude telling the Admiral that Stukov went against his orders, had the Psi Disruptor rebuilt on the planet Braxis, if memory serves correctly, on Braxis against the Admiral's orders, and the Admiral orders Darude to kill him. So Darude leads an infiltration team into the Psi Disruptor, and when they find Commander Stukov, Darude shoots him. But before the commander dies, he tells the Admiral that he believed that Darude was infested, and then, you know, for that reason, it tells him that he believes he is infested and that he's a double agent sent to impede the UED, what the UED has been doing in the Cthulhu sector. And when he explains why, that the Psi Disruptor can disrupt the Zerg enough to where they could lead an assault on Char, and that, you know, this was their greatest weapon against the Zerg. Not necessarily the Confederacy, but definitely against the Zerg. So the Admiral, cursing Darude's name and just beyond angry with his own failure, orders the Psi Disruptor turned on and just, you know, magnify that out there, and the UED does that. And what does that do? The Zerg are heavily affected and cannot properly, the Celebrates and even Sarah Kerrigan cannot properly deal with the fact that they've been disrupted in this way. So from there, the UED leads an assault on Char, where they do end up taking control of the infant Zerg overmind that was formed together when Kerrigan came to Shakuris and warned them of, and warned the Protoss of the new this new infant overmind. And at the end of the UEDs, it gave military honors. Sorry, I'm slipping up on my words here. I apologize, but they gave a military funeral with full honors to Commander Alexei Stukov for his actions. Then from there, the Admiral takes control of the mission and just starts doing everything. Then from there, this is when you jump into the Zerg missions. Now, how does it start out? It starts out with Kerrigan cobbling together allies to get rid of the UED, because what the UED is doing and has done has basically messed with her control of the swarm, or what elements of the swarm she's trying to control. Then on top of that, they've also disrupted what Arcturus has been doing and everything else. So from there, Kerrigan working with James Rayner and Arcturus Manx, they come up with a plan to get rid of the UED. First things they need to do is they need to disrupt the UED's operations. They do that, and then from there they go to destroy the Psi Disruptor. And that's pretty hard. For one, being on Braxis, which is where basically the UED's primary military base is. Then on top of that, Sarah Kerrigan has to focus as hard as she can to keep the Zerg in line that she has control of. And then after the Psi Disruptor is destroyed, what does Sarah Kerrigan do? Well, the infested Sarah Kerrigan do? She sits there and betrays both Jim and Arcturus. She kills Praetor Phoenix, who was in the Dragoon, and then she also kills Edmund Duke. And then after that, Sarah sends the now what we know as the infested ghost Dalrud to kidnap the Dark Templar matriarch Fulzoon, and he succeeds. And then she goes to Char. And while she's waiting on Char, a Protoss carrier shows up, and guess who it is? It's Zeratul. Zeratul shows up and demands the return of matriarch Fulzoon. And when that happens, the Kerrigan strikes a deal. The Dark Templar and Zeratul will come and kill the new Overmind, granting Sarah Kerrigan complete and utter control of the swarm, domination, however you want to say it, control, domination, pick your words here, people, to take control of the Zerg swarm. Very unhappily, very angrily, Zeratul agrees. And when I say he was unhappy and angry, I do mean he is angry and unhappy to do it. But he agrees. So this very brief alliance of Protoss and Zerg come together, and they manage to not only defeat the Zerg, destroy the Zerg that are protecting the Overmind, that's also helping the UED, they also help defeat the UED. So after that happens, Zeratul kills the new infant Overmind, and he demands the return of matriarch Fulzoon. And Kerrigan says, okay, here she is. And when matriarch, well, no, it's not exactly what happens. Kerrigan backstabs, and then Zeratul has to free the Fulzoon from a containment cell if memory serves. I could be getting the sequence of events wrong here, folks. But we will continue our last little bit of the lore for StarCraft II and another. But in any case, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. I'm having a lot of fun learning with this stuff, enjoying doing it. But in any case, hit that like button, hit the bell, and I will see everybody in the next video.